Hey everyone, today we're diving deep into the digital DNA of Fridays for Future. We're going to break down how one teenager with a cardboard sign managed to completely rewrite the playbook for global activism and what it tells us about the future of protest itself.
And really, this whole incredible story, it all boils down to one simple, almost unbelievable question.
How on earth did one person's protest explode into a movement of millions on literally every continent? Well, the answer isn't just passion, though there was a ton of that. It's really a masterclass in digital strategy.
To really get how massive this thing became, we've got to go back to the very beginning. And we have to start really, really small. It all kicked off with just a single act of defiance.
Just look at the speed here. It's incredible. In August of 2018, you've got one 15-year-old, Greta Thunberg, sitting by herself. But then, photos get shared on social media, and that one spark catches fire. Just a few months later, it's not one student, it's millions, coordinating strikes all over the world. The velocity of that growth was just breathtaking. And that's the thing. This wasn't just fast, it was completely unprecedented. It used to take movements years, even decades, to build that kind of global momentum. Fridays for Future did it in a matter of months. It was definitive proof that digital platforms have totally changed the rules of the game.
Okay, so how? How do they actually pull this off? Let's pop the hood and take a look at the digital engine that was really powering this explosive growth.
Yeah, this was so much more than just a clever hashtag. This was a seriously sophisticated digital operation. Think about it. They built websites in dozens of different languages, they had mobile apps to help people coordinate local strikes, and they used social media to just blast out this powerful visual story. They effectively built a global community online long before they all met on the streets.
But the tools, the apps, the websites, that's only half the story. What was truly revolutionary was how they organized themselves. They didn't just grab new tech, they embraced a whole new philosophy of power. And the key to their entire structure is this one word: holacracy. Now, instead of a classic pyramid structure, with a CEO or a single leader at the top, think of it more like the internet itself. It's a distributed network. Power isn't held by one person, it's spread out, which empowers local groups to take action and lead in their own communities.
And when you put these two models side by side, the difference is just stark. Traditional activism is so often centralized, with top-down decisions. Fridays for Future is the complete opposite. You have this sprawling, distributed network that gives local groups the freedom to act on their own. This makes them incredibly nimble on the local level, but also unbelievably powerful when they all decide to coordinate globally.
And this, right here, was an absolutely brilliant strategic move. They knew people would try to dismiss them as naive kids. So to counter that, they grounded every single one of their demands in hard, peer-reviewed science. They were constantly quoting reports from the IPCC, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, and talking about specific carbon budgets. It gave them massive credibility and made them really, really hard to ignore.
Now, of course, whenever you shake things up this much, you're going to get some serious pushback. So let's get real for a minute and take a balanced look at what they've actually achieved and the very real opposition they've come up against. And make no mistake, the successes are huge. You just can't deny them. They completely changed the conversation, forcing climate change to the very top of the global agenda. Governments started declaring climate emergencies. They totally reframed the issue as an urgent crisis happening right now. And maybe most importantly, they just shattered all these old, tired assumptions about young people not having any real political power.
But, and this is the big but, this visual right here, this gets to the very heart of the movement's core frustration. You see all that political talk, all the pledges and the rhetoric? That's the first bar, and it's high. But then you look at what the science actually says is required, and there's this massive, terrifying gap. That gap between words and action, that's the central fight now.
And the challenges have been fierce. From the outside, they're dealing with organized disinformation campaigns and just relentless online harassment, especially aimed at the younger activists. But there are internal challenges too. Relying so heavily on digital tools means you risk leaving people out. The digital divide is a real thing. And hanging over all of it is the huge question of how you keep the energy up for a fight that's going to last for decades.
So after all of this, what's the lasting legacy? Where does this new model for activism actually take us from here?
When it's all said and done, the movement's biggest legacy might just be this. It proved, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that young people are not just citizens in waiting. Armed with digital tools and scientific facts, they are powerful political actors in the here and now.
And that really leaves us with a huge question, doesn't it? When you look at this recipe, the slick digital coordination, the rock-solid scientific grounding, and this decentralized youth leadership, is this the new blueprint for global change? In an era where we face all these complex borderless problems, from pandemics to misinformation, this might just be the model that we all need to understand.